Men, you have been deceived. Society has taught you that if you are kind, attentive, and always available, a woman will naturally desire you in return. But reality does not bend to wishful thinking. A man who chases is a man who repels. Women do not chase men who offer themselves freely, just as no one values what is given without effort. They are drawn to men who are centered, self-sufficient, and unshaken by external forces, qualities that the Stoics themselves upheld as virtues. To be desired, you must first desire nothing outside your control. Most men fail in attraction because they are needy, predictable, and too willing to sacrifice their own dignity in pursuit of fleeting validation. But a woman does not respect the man who orbits her like a desperate moon. She respects the man who stands firm, a rock unmoved by the tides of her attention. A Stoic does not beg for recognition. He cultivates himself, strengthens his character, and in doing so, draws the world toward him. The same applies here. A woman does not chase a man because he asks her to, she chases him because his presence, his energy, and his sense of purpose demand it. If you are tired of being overlooked, if you are weary of trying and failing, then you must change not only your actions but your very mindset. You must stop chasing and become the kind of man who is pursued. In this breakdown, I will show you 7 unshakable principles that will reframe the way you approach attraction, not as a game of tricks, but as an exercise in mastery over yourself. Women do not desire men who need them. They desire men who do not need anyone. Are you ready to embody that man? Let us begin. Number 1. Become a scarce commodity, the power of detachment. A man who is always available is a man who is taken for granted. Scarcity breeds value, abundance breeds indifference. A woman does not chase what is always within reach, just as men do not long for what they already possess. The Stoics teach us to hold nothing too tightly, for attachment leads to suffering. The more you attach your happiness to her attention, the more she will sense your dependence and withdraw. Instead, embrace the power of detachment. Let your time be precious. Let your presence be a privilege, not a given. What weak men do. Text first, reply instantly, and overextend themselves. Drop everything at the slightest hint of her interest. Make her the center of their world instead of building their own. What a Stoic does instead. Prioritizes his own pursuits, his work, his fitness, his growth. Does not fear her absence, nor does he seek to fill every moment with her. Allows space between interactions, letting her feel his absence and value his presence. Key principle: a man of worth does not beg to be chosen, he creates a life so rich, so full, that only a fool would walk away from it. Number 2. Keep her hooked with mystery, the art of reserved speech. A Stoic knows that revealing everything too soon diminishes interest. A man who speaks without restraint, who lays bare his emotions and intentions too quickly, strips himself of intrigue. And without intrigue, there is no desire. Women are drawn to what they do not yet understand, to what must be uncovered piece by piece. To be an open book is to be a book that is never finished. Do not confuse honesty with overexposure. What weak men do. Overshare personal struggles, past relationships, and deep emotions too soon. Seek reassurance through constant communication. Assume that full transparency leads to stronger attraction. What a Stoic does instead. Speaks with precision, not excess, giving just enough to intrigue, never enough to satisfy completely. Lets his actions speak louder than his words, his purpose, his discipline, his confidence. Allows her to wonder about him, to be curious, to lean in rather than pull away. Key principle: a man who does not rush to be understood is a man who will never be forgotten. Number 3. Spark emotional highs and lows, the mastery of emotion, not submission to it. A Stoic does not seek to impress with wealth or status alone, he understands that human connection is forged in emotion, not logic. Women are not drawn to men who merely meet a checklist, they are drawn to men who make them feel. Do not mistake this for manipulation, it is not about creating chaos, but rather understanding that attraction lives in contrast. Comfort must be balanced with excitement, admiration with challenge, predictability with unpredictability. What weak men do. Try to win her by providing stability alone, forgetting that desire thrives in excitement. Overcompensate with material gifts instead of creating meaningful experiences. Suppress their own emotions, mistaking emotional depth for weakness. What a Stoic does instead. Introduces novelty and adventure into interactions, unexpected plans, spontaneous decisions. Balances light-hearted teasing with moments of genuine depth. Listens, understands, and responds, not as a means to impress, but to connect. Key principle, a man who can evoke laughter, curiosity, and challenge will never be easily replaced. Number 4. Break free from predictability, the strength of controlled chaos. A life lived in perfect order is a life void of passion. A man who follows the same routine in courting a woman, texting at the same time, planning the same types of dates, saying the same rehearsed words, will soon find himself dismissed as dull. Predictability is comfort, but it is not attraction. Just as the Stoics embrace change as the nature of life, so too must you introduce variety into your interactions. What weak men do. Develop habits that make them too easy to predict. Never challenge her, never surprise her, never make her feel the thrill of the unknown. Assume that consistency alone is enough to sustain attraction. What a Stoic does instead. Changes the rhythm, sometimes reaching out, sometimes allowing space. Plans experiences that are unexpected and meaningful. Leads, rather than follows, setting the tone for an interaction instead of responding to it. Key principle, a man who remains unpredictable in the right ways will never be seen as ordinary. Number 5. Own your confidence, the silent force that commands respect. A Stoic man does not seek approval, nor does he measure his worth by another's validation. A woman senses when a man is waiting for her to decide his value. And when she senses it, she withdraws. Confidence is not bravado. It is not arrogance. It is the unshaken belief in your own worth, whether she sees it or not. What weak men do. Apologize unnecessarily, seek permission for their own desires. Adapt their beliefs and preferences to match hers. Chase validation instead of demanding respect. What a Stoic does instead. Moves with certainty, whether making decisions, setting plans, or speaking his mind. Maintains strong body language, steady eye contact, controlled posture. Speaks not to impress, but because his words carry weight. Key principle, a man who respects himself first will find that others have no choice but to follow. Number 6. Mirror her energy, the balance of connection and individuality. Attraction is about resonance, not imitation. A Stoic remains himself while understanding the nature of the other. What weak men do. Agree with everything she says to avoid conflict. Change their personality to match hers. Seek to be liked rather than respected. What a Stoic does instead. Engages in meaningful conversations where differences are not feared but respected. Reflects her energy without losing his own identity. Knows that a connection must be built on truth, not performance. Key principle: a man who stands firm in who he is, while understanding who she is, creates undeniable attraction. Number 7. Be the prize, the man who is chased, not the one who chases. The final and most powerful truth: a Stoic does not pursue validation, he becomes the man who is validated by his very existence. What weak men do: put a woman above their purpose, their discipline, their own self-respect. Set no standards for how they expect to be treated. Fear rejection, rather than seeing it as mere redirection. What a Stoic does instead: cultivates his life, his health, his ambition, his mastery, so that his presence is valuable. Holds himself to a standard that others naturally rise to meet. Knows that the right woman will recognize his worth without him needing to prove it. Key principle: the highest form of attraction is not pursued, it is earned. Men, the pursuit of women is not your path, the pursuit of self-mastery is. For too long, you have been conditioned to believe that attraction is something you must earn through effort, gifts, or endless devotion. But no man who chases is ever truly respected. The moment you place a woman above your own purpose, you become smaller in her eyes. This is not cynicism, this is reality. A Stoic does not lament the nature of things, he understands them and adapts accordingly. He does not seek to control a woman's desire, he controls only himself. And in doing so, he becomes the kind of man who is pursued, not the one who begs to be chosen. The shift begins with you. If women have never chased you, it is not because they are blind to your worth. It is because you have not yet become a man whose presence commands pursuit. A man who lacks scarcity will always be taken for granted. A man who reveals everything too soon will never be mysterious. A man who seeks validation will always be discarded for one who does not. The solution? Stop chasing. Start building. Become a man of discipline and purpose, for your own sake, not to impress anyone. Master your emotions so that no rejection, no silence, no moment of uncertainty shakes your resolve. Hold yourself to a higher standard. If she does not respect you, walk away without hesitation. A Stoic does not bend himself to be liked. He stands firm, and in doing so, others are drawn to him. What happens when you make this shift? When you stop chasing, something remarkable happens. The dynamic reverses. The moment you stop seeking validation, women begin to wonder why you do not need theirs. When your presence is a privilege rather than an expectation, people crave it more. When you hold the power to walk away, you become the one who is pursued. Do not misunderstand, this is not a game, nor is it manipulation. It is a higher way of living. Women are not the goal, they are a natural byproduct of a man on his path. You were not meant to chase. You were meant to build, to lead, to become. And when you do, she will notice. She will feel the difference. And she will chase. So now, ask yourself, are you ready to become that man? If you found value in this wisdom and are ready to embrace the Stoic path of self-mastery, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to Ultimate Stoicism. Here, we don't chase illusions, we build strength, purpose, and unshakable confidence. Join a community of men who refuse to beg for approval and instead command respect by the way they live. Subscribe now and start walking the path of true Stoic power.